All right, so let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about a smart contract platform called Sui. And, it's making a pretty huge claim that it's found a new way to build the internet. And it's all based on this one core idea that could, just maybe, solve one of the most frustrating problems in the entire crypto world.
And what is that problem? Well, it's a question I bet a lot of you have asked. Why are most blockchains still so incredibly slow and expensive? It's that feeling, right? You go to send a token or mint an NFT or just use an app and bam, you're stuck with crazy high fees and you're waiting and waiting. It's because, honestly, most blockchains are like a single-lane road in the middle of rush hour. A massive digital traffic jam where every single car, no matter how small, has to wait in the exact same line.
And this is where Sui says it's different. This slide really nails it. Instead of that one single congested lane, Sui is built to be a multi-lane superhighway. The whole idea here is that most transactions don't even need to wait in line. They can just go. They can be processed at the same time, in parallel. But wait a minute, how is that even possible? How do you do that on a blockchain?
Well, the answer lies in a really fundamental shift in how they think about the problem. See, Sui isn't just trying to be a faster version of what we already have. Its entire architecture is built around a totally different concept. It is all about objects.
So, okay, what in the world is an object in Sui? The easiest way to think about it is as a self-contained digital thing. Your tokens, your cool digital collectibles, even the smart contracts themselves. They're not just numbers or lines in some giant shared spreadsheet that the whole network has to agree to update. No, instead, they are distinct individual pieces of data that you, the owner, directly control.
This comparison here is perfect. The traditional way, the account model, it's basically like a bank ledger. Your balance is just a number in their big book. And if you want to change it, the whole bank, the whole system has to get involved to update that central record. Sui's object model, totally different. It's more like you are physically holding the digital cash, or you have the digital deed to your house right there in your wallet. To use it, you just update your own personal asset. You don't need to call a global meeting and wait for the whole world to agree.
And this is where that multi-lane superhighway idea really starts to click. See, Sui gets that not all traffic is the same, so it basically sorts every single digital asset, every object, into one of two buckets. And this distinction, this is the secret sauce, this is what makes the whole performance thing work.
So on one side, you've got owned objects. Pretty straightforward, right? These belong to just one person, one address. Think about your personal stack of coins or that unique one-of-a-kind NFT you own. Simple. Then, on the other side, you have shared objects. Now, these are different. They don't have a single owner. They're built for lots of people to interact with. Things like a decentralized exchange liquidity pool, or maybe a sword in a game that a whole guild can use. Okay, so here's the really crucial part. These two types of objects have completely different needs. Owned objects, they're all about simple stuff, like transfers. So they are optimized for just raw, insane speed. Shared objects, though, they handle much more complex interactions. And because multiple people could be trying to change them at the same time, they need that formal consensus process, a way for the whole network to agree on the order of things, just to keep everything safe and sound.
So by making this distinction, Sui can treat these transactions completely differently. It's like it creates an express lane. It puts all those simple single-owner transactions on that express lane, letting them fly through in parallel without ever having to wait for the slower, more complex traffic in the other lanes.
Let's look at what happens with an owned object. The process is so streamlined. You sign the transaction, it gets broadcast, and a bunch of validators just quickly check it and sign off on it. Boom, it's done. But notice what's missing here. Where's the big, slow global consensus vote? It's not there. This transaction never had to get in line with everybody else. It just happened, almost instantly.
Now, let's compare that to a shared object transaction. The first few steps look pretty similar, right? But then, look at step 4. It explicitly has to enter consensus. And you might ask why? Well, it's simple. When a bunch of people might be trying to interact with the same exact object, you absolutely need a safe, agreed-upon way to put those actions in order. Sui basically saves the heavy machinery of consensus only for the situations that truly need.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The people who built Sui say it loud and clear, right in their white paper. This ability to tell the difference between ownership types, it's not some minor tweak, it's the core feature that allows for all this parallel processing. It really is a completely unique way of looking at the problem.
Okay, so we've gotten pretty deep into the how, but what about the so what, right?
what does all this fancy tech actually mean for you and me, for developers trying to build cool stuff? What does this kind of speed and scale really unlock?
Well, the impact is kind of huge. For simple things like sending money, the latency, the wait time, is way, way lower. Things feel instantaneous. The network's throughput, how much it can handle, can just scale up by adding more computers. That means it can actually support massive mainstream apps without choking. And maybe most importantly for everyday users, because the network isn't always clogged, gas fees can stay stable and low. This means developers can finally build really complex things without having to worry that their users are going to get priced out by some crazy fee spike.
And this isn't just about making the stuff we already have a little bit faster. This really opens the door to totally new things. I mean, imagine real-time games where every single action is an on-chain transaction, and there's no lag. Or DeFi that feels as quick and snappy as your regular online bank. Think about a creator being able to mint and manage millions of NFTs for their community, and doing it efficiently and affordably. This is the kind of future that Sui's architecture is built for.
And all of this brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all. This isn't just a technical upgrade, it's really a philosophical shift. If we move from a world where our assets are just entries in someone else's book to a world where we hold them directly as our own objects, what does that really mean? What does it mean for ownership, for control, and for the actual foundation of the next version of the internet? That's something to think about.